What is going on, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. Today we have a special one for you. Shout out to JW for this one. This is Stagg 25C. This is the old Stagg Junior, now just Stagg, but unfortunately during my Fresh Crack Friday, we did break the top. That being said, that's not too much of a problem because I did just open this up, so it shouldn't be too much different, but we do have to figure out how we're going to top this off here shortly. Maybe I can reach out to Buffalo Trace and see if they want to help me out with a new topper, but everybody knows before we get started on all of that, time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. Spicy. So that's right, this is the bottle formerly known as Stagg Junior. I'm just going to move this so I don't drop it or anything. This is coming in at 125.6 proof. This is obviously barrel proof, uncut, unfiltered, and this is coming out of Buffalo Trace. This is Mash Bill 1, which is 10 or less % rye, and then we know this is about 7 to 9 years old, so we'll call it an 8-year whiskey. Now make sure you stick around because during this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week, my question of the day is going to be, are we still hunting whiskey the way that we used to? And I'm going to give my opinion on that because Stagg Junior was one of the first bottles that I hunted and one of the first bottles in that unicorn-esque realm that I actually found. But let's talk about drinkability on this. 125.6 proof. How does it sit? Now, I will be honest with you, I always thought Stagg Junior, and I will continue to call this Stagg Junior because George T. Stagg and I don't want you to get confused with what we're talking about. I always thought that Stagg Junior sipped a little bit hot. Now, I do think that the flavor profile goes along with that and it matches that heat and gives you that complexity. But in this particular case, with strictly talking about drinkability, 125.6 proof, I would probably say this drink's a little bit under its proof personally. I think I would blind this in that like 120 to 125 range. So if we call that an average of like 123, it's right there. And we give it a 7.0 if it drinks right at its proof. I'll probably go right over that 7.0 mark. Let's take one more sip and then we'll give it a score. Yeah, I mean, only my second glass of whiskey for the night, so it's not like anything crazy here at 125.6 proof. I'm going to go like 7.23. Again, I don't think it's anything crazy. I would probably say 120 proof, but 7.23 is where we're going to put it when it comes to drinkability. And of course, next we're going to get a taste on this, and I will say this feels very middle-of-the-road bourbon-y. I feel like I get vanillas, some burnt caramel on this. Then it goes into this weird, it dries out the palate, which is why I'm thinking raisin, but I feel like it's more of a grape note on this particular release. And then I get into those age statements, but it doesn't seem like overwhelming, right? There's a little bit of oak, a little bit of leather. I wouldn't say any like chocolate or anything on this. It doesn't go that deep into like an over oaked or over aged product, but it does feel very traditional bourbon-y. And again, we'll talk about price in a minute, but it doesn't seem like exceptional to me. And I personally think that like I haven't had a Stagg in a long time. I've already mentioned that. I feel like it doesn't really live up to like Stagg used to be that special release, and this isn't George T. Stagg, it's Stagg Junior, but people still hunted them as if they were like this crazy special release, and now they're doing 4 a year, and they seem very average. And that's kind of the price that they're asking for them is average, and I feel like the secondary market is coming back down to average, and that's kind of what I get in this glass right here. I want to put my bias aside and like pretend this isn't supposed to be exceptional, right? And we can get right into it right now. Let's just do a 2 for 1 here. The price on these bottles, I believe, are still $65 MSRP. And if you talk about other barrel proof or cash strength or special releases, this is released 4 times a year now. How special is it at this point? You talk about the Elijah Craigs, they're right in that realm. Like, they're supposed to be good for $65, and I feel like they are good for $65. It's just the rest of the hype. And now Buffalo Trace with their $1.86 quadrillion expansion project, maybe that's going to give us more of these, but I feel like if you're going to expand the market, but yet decrease the quality, you're not giving us what we asked for. We want that exceptional quality along with more availability. You can't just be like, oh, we have more now, but dilute the product. And I feel like that's what they're going to do. I feel like that's exactly why I'm so mad. I've talked about this before. I don't want to get too mad about it right now. I do not want to get mad about it. Let's talk about this. I think it's good when it comes to the flavor profile. I think it's still a very good price when it comes to $65. The flavor profile, again, average. I'm going to give it like a 7.64 when it comes to the flavor profile. When it comes to price, though, I think it's a little bit higher at least. Let's go like 8.17 when it comes to the price on this. But listen, while I have these scores up, let's send it over to this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week and talk about the whiskey hunt. Are you guys still doing it or not? Cheers, y'all. So here's the deal. Stagg Junior was one of the first bottles that I was actually hunting, and I like waited for it to drop. I went out, I found it on the store, on the shelf at MSRP. I bought 2 of them because back in Pennsylvania, they would just put these bottles on the shelf, and I got 2 of them. And I thought to myself, dude, I'm in it. This is it. We're deep in this. None of my friends have this. Everybody's looking for them. I've got 2 of them. I gave one away to a friend. And at that time, that was a huge deal. People didn't just give away bottles of Stagg Junior. And I had a buddy who was deep into it as well, and he didn't get his hands on one. And I said, you know what? Bourbon Karma, I'm going to give this to you. And I felt like the man. And that was like, I wasn't sitting outside of a store waiting for it. I was just following along, right? I was reading all the Reddit posts. I was following PA Bourbon Squad to see when things would be released. I reached out to the connections that I had, and all of it just happened to come together at the right moment. And I got my hands on 2 bottles of Stagg Junior. And the thing is, I'm not doing that anymore. Again, sitting out, like, if you know something's going to be released and a store emails you and they're like, hey, 13 Saturdays from now, we're going to have all these bottles line up, you might get it. I would probably do that. I don't even consider that hunting anymore. I consider that just waiting around for whiskey. And if you've got friends that you want to wait around, sure. If you got nothing else to do on a Saturday afternoon, why not? But I'm talking about like the true bourbon hunt. I'm talking about getting in your car, driving store to store, and we can't do that here in Pennsylvania, so I would have to drive to Jersey or Delaware, and just looking, right? You knew Stagg got released in Jersey, so you're like, let me take a trip. Let me see what's on the shelf. And you drive on a Tuesday afternoon, because that's when the release was, and you'd hit this store and you'd hit that store, and you'd be like, hey, did you get any Stagg? And they'd be like, nah, we didn't get any allocation this year. I did hear this guy down the street was getting some, but I don't know if he's putting it out today. Then you'd drive down the street, and there'd be some old lady behind the counter, and you'd be like, did you get any Stagg? And she'd be like, what's Stagg? And I'd be like, is the owner here? I would love to speak to the owner about his bourbon collection. And you'd buy 4 store picks and be like, yeah, these are really good. By the way, I just bought 4 store picks. Do you got any Stagg in the back? And then he'd take you to the back and be like, we don't have any Stagg, but I got this WB Saffel. Do you want that? And you'd be like, yeah, I want that, because you never had WB Saffel before. But now you're like, nah, I don't really want WB. I'm here for the Stagg. All of this to say, like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not putting in that much work anymore. I'm putting in more work when it comes to barrel picks and following my favorite creators to buy barrel picks than I am everything else. If something pops across my screen, and again...
The reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. You got a minute?
Shout out to my Discord for helping me get this particular bottle, JW. This is one of those things, like, I will go and buy it if it's available. If it comes across my desk at MSRP or close to it, or maybe it's bundled with something like an Elijah Craig toasted store pick that the guy that I trust tells me this is a phenomenal toasted barrel and I should buy this as well. So, like, yeah, I'll go out of my way and buy it, but I'm not going out of my way to hunt it. So I want to know, what's your hunting technique? Are you done hunting? Are you just waiting for online releases? Are you just doing lotteries? Do you just have your local store that you go to and you buy 40 bottles over the year and they give you a ticket at the end of the year to hop in line for some OWA? I don't know what people are doing anymore. I feel like I'm over it. The FOMO's gone. These seem like they're a little bit more available. It seems like the people who aren't interested in whiskey anymore are kind of getting out of the whiskey game. So maybe there's going to be more products like this for myself. I don't know. The bourbon hunt for me is over. Now it's the bourbon refresh, I guess, because that's all I'm doing online. I'm just clicking refresh. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Cheers, y'all. But listen, this bottle came in at a 7.68. Not a terrible spot for it. It's Stagg Junior though, right? It's supposed to be an 8. It's supposed to be a 9. It's supposed to be one of the best of the best. And I think this is pretty much speaking for itself as an average whiskey. But listen, that's where we're going to leave you for today. If you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on Instagram. Go click that follow button over there. Chat with us in Discord 24/7. That link in the description below. We're off Patreon at this point. I'll tell you that story in a little bit. But you'll find us somewhere else soon, as long as I have anything to do with it. Cheers, y'all. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay refreshing your screen, I guess. Cheers, y'all.